Sorry. Let's fiddle with the programming. Fiddle with the program again. Okay, so I'm going to run it. Let's go over here and we'll run it again, put in some weird numbers. Enter a test score. We'll say, I'll try to make sure these don't add up right. 43, 30, 38, and 40, 45. Let's see what that does. Okay, the total score, if you add these up, right, we get what, 11, 16, we get, I think, we get 126. It did that for me. Okay, so we divided that by 3. Notice 126 divided by 3 is not 42, right? 100. No, it is 40. Okay, let's try this again. Whoops. I wanted to get something odd there. Let's say 42, 38, 45. 42, 38, 45. Okay, 125 divided by 3 is not 42. 120, huh? No, this is truncated. All right, it's actually 4, 2, blah, 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 blah. Okay, and I can prove that to you, right? If we go back into the program and we say with these same numbers, 42, 38, 45, we go up here to the round and I say, I want you to round it to 5 decimal places. Okay. The second argument in round is the precision. If I don't do it, it will use a precision of 0 if that works out. Okay. So when I do this, and what I say, 42, 38, 35, I think if I do this, I can just copy it, 42, 38, 45. That, right? So that's what round did, right? It created, and actually, again, it's a little imprecise because, well, 125 divided by 3, this goes off, forever, right? 0.6666. But I told it 5. I want 5 decimal places. And that's what it did. Okay. So that's what round does. Round is, again, very simple function that you can use to control the precision of whatever, if you're using division, whatever it is, it will just simply round the calculated score to this, put a comma in between the arguments into this number of decimal places. Okay, and then this stuff, again, all just simply gives you the output. This is a new line character. This is an escape character that tells it to throw a line. Okay, so, I know if you've never seen Python, I'm not sure if there are other, I know a lot about R, but before that, it was pretty much Pascal. And I frankly can't remember if you have these incremental operators. Yeah. So, but Python has them. Okay, so let's go on. What else can I say about this before we move on? Let's go back here. Not much. That's strange. Let me, there should be another program here. That's the one we have. Okay. Let's continue. This isn't the same code. As you can see, there's a while loop in here. But nevertheless, Okay, indentation in a lot of programs, indentation doesn't matter, but it does. It does with Python. It's part of the syntax, and you can't do this. You can't have two print statements where the second one is indented by a single space. You'll get an error if you do that. Indentation plays an important role that we'll talk about before too long, and you've got to get it right. Generally, in blocks of code, let's see if we can find one. Oh. Here, okay. Notice in this code, which was a little different from test scores that I just ran, this while statement, the subsequent lines after while are indented for. And then after this if statement, and we'll talk about while loops and if loops probably next week, the embedded lines that are part of the if statement also are indented by for. Okay, this indentation means something to Python. And if you don't get it just right, you'll get an error. Okay. Now Python, again, like R, it looks at each line. A line is a self-contained, meaningful piece of script, and it tries to figure out what that line means. You cannot arbitrarily continue a line on the next line and expect it to work, because it won't. But you can do things like this. You can, if you have a really long line that all does one thing, you might want to spread it out over two lines. You can do that using a plus symbol like this, which is an implicit continuation. Or you can do something like this. You can use a backward slash where you want the line to stop and begin on the next line. This is the so-called explicit continuation. There's other things you can do too. You can implicitly continue lines after parentheses, brackets, braces, plus signs, minus signs, other things. And we'll see those. Okay, so here are some general coding rules. Indentation is important. And how do you learn it? Well, like a lot of things in programming, you learn it by doing it wrong. But the good news is indentation errors will be easy to spot. It won't compile the program. It will give you a syntax error right away and easy to fix. And the standard indentation is 4 spaces. You can use so-called implicit or explicit. Let me show you something else about the, let's call up one of these programs that we just had running. About idle. You can indent using the idle menus, right? So here's our test scores program that didn't exactly match the slide. You can also comment using, if I wanted to comment out some of these lines, instead of individually doing them one at a time like this, I could just simply highlight them all and come up here into format, and I can say comment out the region like that. And you'll notice that when you say comment out the region, it'll put double comment signs so that you know it was done through the menus. Or you can uncomment things. I can highlight this whole bunch and a bunch of lines, group of lines, and I can say uncomment the region. And now they're all back to normal, except this one is indented improperly. So you can also indent using, if for some reason these two should be indented by 4 and they actually shouldn't, you could do that again in formatting. You could say indent region like this, and it will automatically indent them 4, or you can take it out using uncomment. Whoops, not run. Format, say uncomment, I'm sorry, not uncomment, dedent region, right? So why might you want to do that? Well, when you're writing a program, the worst way to write a program is to try to write the whole program in one sitting and then try and run it. That is a losing strategy. What you want to do when you're creating a program of any complexity at all is get bits and pieces of it to work one bit at a time. And you'll find that when you get into this, there'll be things that go wrong and you can't figure out why. And one way to diagnose that is to comment out certain lines, to see certain lines that you think may be affecting the output, to see if maybe they are what is responsible for causing the logic errors. Okay, so commenting out stuff can be a good way to build a program. Comment out stuff that you don't know if it's working, and then slowly uncomment it out, uncomment it back, and see if it fixes the problem. Okay, so let's see, got coding rules. Okay, let's see if I can find this. Where is this test scores? Hang on a sec, bear with me. I'll tell you what I can do. I can do this. If I open up this and we'll get rid of all of it. It's kind of a clunky way to do it, but it'll work. I'd say file, save as, test scores, save it with a different name. And let's just copy the stuff directly in like this. Copy it off the slide. This is all text, right? So this should work just fine with some possible exceptions. Put this in here. And then go to the next slide that's got the rest of it. And there are going to be some problems, but let's see if I can fix some of them right now. Okay, and we'll save this. This is the test course program that you actually see in those slides. And try and run it. Print a little character, right? This always happens. So it's really the line before. No, see, there's a space there and there's a space here. We got to get rid of these. There's a space here. No, there's not one there. There's one here. And that should have fixed that. Save this again. And we run this. There we go. Okay, so if you look, this program is slightly different. What stops the program from running is when the user enters a test score of 999. If the user doesn't enter this test score of 999, it will continue on and keep running over and over and over again. Okay, so let's run it. Okay, enter test score. I'll say 67. Enter another one. I'll say 9089. Another one, 34. So what we're doing here is we can enter as many test scores as we want, and it's going to find the total and it's going to find the average. But when I want to stop, if I want to calculate the total and the average for these 5, I can enter in 999. Okay, and only then, this is called a sentinel value sometimes, only then will it kick out of the loop. It'll sum up the scores for the 5, and it will give you an average score as well.